Instead of discussing toxic masculinity, what does positive masculinity look like? It looked like when I went to the gym after being sick all week. The most buffed superhuman I see there almost every time I go to work out walks up to me and says, "Where were you, bro? I hope you didn't decide to change gym." Love that he didn't want you going anywhere. Gym meatheads care about each other. The motto is always, "You're one of us until you quit." Uncle Iroh from Avatar. My favorite scene from the entire show is when Zuko returns to him right before the comet arrives and Iroh doesn't hesitate to hug his nephew. The sheer forgiveness and empathy he gives Zuko is an example that all of us should follow, not just males. He wields so much power, and rarely uses it as well. When I was in high school I cut my finger and my English teacher only had princess band-aids. She said I had to use one when I had bio class right after the guy sitting next to me said my band-aid looked sick and he wanted one too. He's a good man. A lot of the guys I knew in high school would give you endless shit for that. Those three mad lads who took on a terrorist with a narwhal tusk, fire extinguisher, and bare hands. Imagine being a terrorist and some random guy pulls out a narwhal tusk and just stabs you. I want to know what positive masculinity looks like when you're a single guy with no kids. Look after your friends, especially your guy friends. Women seem to look out for each other in ways that men are taught not to. If you see a friend struggling, don't leave them to it. Often it seems like nobody gives a shit when you're a guy. Give a shit. I don't know if this is your thing, but one of the best examples of positive masculinity I've seen is the men in Lord of the Rings, more so the books than the movies, but definitely the movies as well. They're strong, they fight, and they're competent, independent decision-makers who lead well. And they also love and pursue peace and justice. They care for the friends group, and are willing to do hard, sacrificial things for the greater good. They aren't cruel or wrathful, they don't use their power to hurt innocents, and they feel their emotions deeply and willingly. Stereotypically, men are looked at to be leaders, and they're also expected to be angry, stoic, and physically domineering to get their way, because that makes them a man. But their manliness isn't determined by how much they can be in control or dominate others, it's determined by how good of a person they can be while using the talents and skills they have specifically as men. These are a few things I have picked up along the way and try to live by. Be a positive, honest, and genuine part of the lives of those around you. Try to help your friends, co-workers, acquaintances, etc. become better versions of themselves even as you do the same for yourself. There's a quote from Kingdom of Heaven, which itself is a fairly cheesy movie, but it stuck with me on this one. What man is a man that does not make the world better? Strive to make the world better. Start with the people that surround you, and work outward from there. Don't tear people down, insult them, or even tell jokes at others' expense. Have integrity, say what you mean and follow through with your promises. Treat women and non-binary individuals with the same respect you treat men, which should be the utmost, because all people deserve respect and dignity. Hold the door for people. Thank others when they do the same for you. Express gratitude for the positive things in your life. Whether in quiet reflection alone at the end of the day, or out loud to those around you. Share your gratitude with your friends and others that surround you, but avoid bragging and one-upping. Be open about your emotions and honest with yourself and others about how you feel. Express your affection for those you care about. Men can have platonic male friends and still hug them hello and goodbye, that's allowed. Hope these help, King. I like Teddy Roosevelt's, speak softly and carry a big stick. If you see someone in a confrontation that they don't want to be in, step in and help them with your words and only resort to force if you really have no other choice and need to. Most people would rather save face and stop being a dick if you ask them nicely enough. If you come off super aggressive in defense of someone else, then the other person will think he has to fight you. Force doesn't have to be physical force either. Like if you see someone berating someone else, you could talk them down without having to get to their level and yelling. In a similar manner, Jackie Chan's The Greatest Victory is a battle not fought. He was deeply skilled in martial arts, yet always advocated for non-violence. Tucking in your homies and giving them a soft kiss goodnight. Don't forget to tuck the feet in as well. It completes the package. Don't forget to tuck in their package. That really completes the package. One thing I think is especially hard for men is how to process anger and frustration. I think Mr. Rogers gives a rough outline of what positive processing could look like. I think processing negative feelings and energy shows a ton of power and is an example of positive masculinity. Using your assertive, dominant male testosterone to help the elderly put groceries in their car. Throws groceries into car. That's fucking right, Grandpa. Don't let those groceries make you feel like a little bitch. Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, Steve Irwin, Jim Henson. You can be strong and still be kind. In fact, the greatest display of strength is to have power and not use it. A real man is capable of being cruel, but chooses not to be. A real man can break you, but would rather build you up instead. Real power comes from what you can build, not from what you can tear down. Terry Crews is another really positive male role model. Also CPT. Jean-Luc Picard. Being a great and present dad. Edit. Wow, thank you so much for the gold, silver awards and all the upvotes. Being confident and resting in yourself so much that you feel safe doing things which are considered non-masculine. Having a tea party with a child, putting on a dress for a bet, your child, just because. Showing emotions. That's a little for anyone. But masculinity often means being strong and big, so a reflective way to show your emotions and process them, talk about them, is a really positive measure. Being protective but leaving space for the people you protect. Leaving space such that people can try what they want and do what they feel they need to do, leaving enough space that they can learn to be the first line of protection, but still being close enough around to protect them when they need it. It's fascinating to see. In the line of the above, being a caring father, role model around children. It's often forgotten that men are also part of children's world because they're so constantly seen and shown as a threat. And that's just dumb. Being comfortable wrestling and playing with children, feeling safe in looking after a child which seems lost, being protective over children is masculine and important. Positive masculinity lifts other people up to accomplish the best. It says that you can accomplish your goals, and you have everything you need to do so. You can find the contacts, get the equipment, build the skills. It's teaching someone carpentry, it's volunteering at the soup kitchen. It's being a confident, generous, and hard-working in contrast to being strong, successful, or scary. Respect everyone, not only women. Realizing that suicidal thoughts don't make you less of a man, neither does voicing your anxiety or depression, or even feelings. And getting help for them isn't any less manly either. Showing others that voicing their emotions isn't fragile. As swift as the coursing river. The force of a great typhoon. The strength of a raging fire. Mysterious as the dark side of the moon. It took me too long to realize that male emotion is not intrinsically bad. Many previous generations have just used it in terrible ways. You can get upset and defend yourself without messing up everyone's day. Just be aware and self-reflective about your effect on those around you and look to improve and communicate. I grew up with many people, especially women, saying that all men are emotional cripples and that any expression of male emotion other than joy or playfulness was toxic. This is not the case. The men in their life were just assholes. Complete apathy to other people defining what you are supposed to be like. Never start fights, but be ready to end one. Defend the defenseless and remember, in the end a man has only one thing. His word. So don't break it, because that's the only thing you'll leave behind. Be trustworthy, diligent, and honest. Stopping seeing everybody in stereotypes. After years of stereotypes on women, we now start a discussion on toxic or positive masculinity. Great. Let's add more cliches. What a man or a woman is. My prime directive on being a positive man or woman: don't be an asshole. Everything else flows from that rule. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more Reddit content.